So now we'll go again. Lutuli House. Lutuli House. I want South Africa to understand who rose all of you up. Okay? All of you. It was a white guy. A crazy motherfucking Malungu. Fuck the white. Fuck the Malungu. Fuck you. Fuck this BEE. Fuck the whites. I stood up. No one else. No one else. No one fucking else. I stood up alone. And I had to prove, because all you motherfuckers thought I was crazy at first. No, not those that are in the know, but the masses. Who's this fucking white idiot? We've all been reeling from Nino Bar, who had some sort of... That was a fucking setup. Actually, that was a setup. Yes. Long story. Somebody doesn't just go into Dross and rape a little girl in the fucking bathroom. Use your brains, man. Oh, I'm on cat. I've used so much cat in my life. It's a setup. Think about it. Think about it. The little girl doesn't scream and shout or anything and make a noise. And then her mother walks in and finds the little black girl there. Think about it. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Because you know what happens when you go to a dross and your child goes to the toilet? It is that close to where everything else is that if somebody were to try to do that, immediately you would hear it. Idiots. You don't understand how the Afrikaner plays. Gavin Watson, the murder, yes, to distract South Africa's core, blah, 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 and the international media, they set up the xenophobic attacks. Go look at the timelines. Do you see Julius Malema pointing any of this shit out to you? Teaching you how to stand up for yourselves. Because you couldn't do that for yourselves. Every black person in that fucking hospital should have been on my side. I've got it on camera now. I wasn't even admitted yet. There was not even a form filled out. And I was detained. I was not allowed to go outside for a cigarette. The security wouldn't let me. Lutuli House? You did fuck all for your people. I rose your people up. I had to live the shit for the last 2 years to prove over and over and over and over again that there is a state capture apartheid agenda happening here. That's why we are all still living in fucking locations. A location is a hometown. It's a squatter camp, a concentration camp. Don't you see it? No, you didn't see it until I pointed it out and I stood up. I put my life on the line. I started to link the judicial system with the medical sector, with the law society. I did that. And when people saw that, they got inspiration. I stood up for the colored people in Cape Town. I made Rashid and Rashad Stahi famous all over the world. A forgotten people group. The white man. Fuck the white man. Fuck the white. BEE, cunt, white privilege. Or the whole puss world has said that about whites. Yet here is a white in a country that hates whites. No. You hate whites. Because 2 years ago, that's where we were. Remember the clicks incident? Where it wasn't even a word, it was close to the word, it was money or some shit. You calling me monkey? Who the fuck do you think you are? Whitey! Whitey! That's where this country was. Now look at where we are. And then I go to a fucking piece of shit hospital like that. Do you understand that I'm a human trafficked child? There's pictures that I've put up that show you the links to University of Pretoria. I'm the type of child that they used to use to model how you chop up and prepare human bodies. Do you want to know what it's like to get raped before you're the age of 1 month old? To have your blood drawn out of you by occultic fuckers. Then do you know what it's like to have some black fat fucking bitch kaffa try to detain me there? She tried her best for 6-7 hours to keep me there. They did things to me to try and get to me. Psychological manipulation the whole time. She was arrogant to me. I've got a doctored report. I'm sitting there on Valium, calm. Because again, and I'll show you how I sit down. See? Because when I talk to people like that, I understand quite clearly how sharks work. Naturally, I would give you no reason whatsoever to have me admitted against my will. There is something called an Act 33. I think it's an Act 33 because it's definitely not an Act 21 or 22 because it's not a court order. Yeah, so I think it's a place of safety. Could be an Act 22. I can't remember exactly how it works, but this has happened a few times to me. So if I'm a danger to myself or someone else, which is why they were pushing our buttons for 6-7 hours while we waited and the doctor didn't come. Then at the end of it, the intimidation, I was not even signed in. And I went, tried to get out of there. Oh, hey, Baba, what's that? That type of fucking attitude. That fat fuck kaffa. Pusnai. That is illegal. That is abduction. They were going to forcibly hold me down and detain me if I didn't come back. And then they've got another reason. I was not even admitted or signed in yet. This happened in the first 5 minutes. I was marked as I walked into that fucking hospital. Just like I said I would. Why? Because it's right next to the Pretoria Universiteit. Do you want to know the opposing counsel in me and Sharice's, yes, my ex-bitch wife, yes, divorce, Frikkie Grobler, Dr. Grobler. Do you see the correlation? You fuckers. I had to beg you to go to the toilet. I had a nurse come into the toilet and watch me urinate. That's sexual harassment. Huh? I have to beg them to go and buy something to drink from the canteen. Every time I tried to go for a cigarette, I had to beg, please, I just want to go. For what? 7 hours, 6 hours, the Grobler didn't come. Then at the end of it, you threaten me and you make it out as if I am lucky to even be leaving this hospital. So now you're going to draw my blood because you want to know what's making me feel anxious. That's the stupid Kaffir mentality that you came at me with, you stupid, fat, fucking black bitch. I refused, and I did not give you consent, and yet you still went and did it. That is medical malpractice. I want her license to practice revoked, and I'm going to sue Steve Biko. Dr. Benninghoff is another one. I want his license revoked. He wrote down there that I was on drugs. No drug tests have been done. That's medical fraud. She says I've got psychosis, the black bitch there at fucking Steve Biko. You know why? Because I used marijuana to treat my bipolar. You know what the FDA, you know what that fucking means? The Food and Drug Administration. They put ISO standards on things, okay? So that means that under the FDA, I can treat bipolar with marijuana. It's legal. But guess what the stupid black bitch goes and says? Again, oh yeah, it's not really legal. It's this and that. The same thing that the police fucker said, and the same thing that Salome Langeveld said. So how does that fucking feel? Your head of psychiatry would not come and see me. I've been dealing with your fucking kind for 36 years, motherfucker. If you think I don't know how to disassociate and fracture your fucking brain, you're wrong. I will sit there. I'll show you. I'll sit there quite calmly. My listeners, and we'll speak. See, I've split my conscious and subconscious. So I can do a lot of different things while you can't. So we can have quite a calm conversation. I have a very special type of memory. So every letter, my dear, that comes out of my mouth, letter, is done so on purpose. See, that's my little Mr. Bigglesworth. So yes, I will sit and I will engage with you in a polite, well-mannered, controlled, conducive, and just a downright civil conversation. No problem. No insults needed. You will try your mind games with me. You will try to use what you've been taught in your how many years of whatever the fuck it is you do. And I will respond and counter each and every single trap that you set. But while I do that, energetically I'm inside your mind. So every single word that I make you say, because understand from the word go, every single word between you and I, the exchange, I am the one creating the platform and the idea that leads to your cognitive ability making you speak a vibration out of your mouth. I am the one that initializes that. So understand that. And then while I do that, I lock certain things into your... Mr. Bigglesworth wants to be with me while I do this. See? Come here, Mr. Bigglesworth. So again, like I said, you do not understand the mind like I do. I'm not in psychosis, my friends. This is called the occult. When I channel and go off and on like that, that is not only me. Now, again, Mr. Grobler, Mr. G, you've also got a G like me. I feel like we already know each other because we do. Our soul merged with you a while back. So I know a whole lot about you. In fact, I already control certain parts of your mind now. Yes, yes, the pituitary gland. Not just that, your cortex, your prefrontal cortex, your hypothalamus. The link between your hypothalamus and your associations. No, not the medulla oblongata. I don't need to go. But I understand how to control this embryonic spinal fluid that charges up your pineal, releases DMT. So I can drop your cycles. See, I like it when you see the nice mellow 5 years theta state. So you could call it a form of hypnosis. Yes. But you see, it goes much deeper than hypnosis. So for all of the other boffins out there that think they understand, like your psychiatrists, your neurosurgeons, neuroengineers, etc., 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 think of the mind as a pyramid. Really, as a pyramid. Your ability to, what would the word be, Abidad? Your ability to perceive, retain, and entertain. Yes, I believe that is it. So your ability to perceive, right? Retain what you're perceiving, entertain what it is you're receiving. Because whatever you do when you entertain something, it means you're taking something in, you're absorbing information ultimately. You're absorbing information and then you're processing it. You're basing it against a past experience, your grid of reference, your paradigms, etc., etc. Because there's two different types. There's your experiential knowledge, your grid of reference, but then there's also your bias paradigms, your cultural programming, such things. That's what we do for you. Okay, because remember, like I said, you have something called what is it? The mimic theory. The mimic theory. Because that is exactly what you do as humans. See? Like again, like I said, everything you are, guys, is programmed that way. You don't yet know who you are. That's one of the gifts of being on my side. You get to understand who you are for the first time in your life. Because from the moment that you could breathe, you were slapped on the arse and told that you were certain something. And you needed air to breathe and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And you were taught something very specific. That pain brings results. Good results, because life must be good. That's the first part of your programming. See? Not really, no. Because you already get programmed in the womb. But we won't go that deep because most of you fucks don't understand that. So we'll leave that to the neural engineers and some of the other boffins. Call young students. How you guys doing? Feeling validated? Somewhat. So, how did you do it? Like I said, I split my two, subconscious and conscious. Now we work together in unison. That's how you will work with the shadow. But you see, it's a very real process. That's why all you cowards didn't do it. No, not the Jungians. The rest of you fucks. You are so far behind Carl Jung back then. Never mind now. Because I've taken all of what he has and I've evolved it times a million. I'm living it now. See? So, that means Yes, I have access to every person on this planet. That means that. So let's look at a pyramid. Okay, so turn the pyramid upside down. Okay, so the pointy part is on the ground and it's going up. Okay, like an ice cream cone, the king of a king cone. Okay, that is your mind. Okay, now think of many different, like an anthill going down. You've seen those things. You can Google it. I'll put one up where they put like a cast sort of metal down it, and you see the labyrinth that goes down, right? That is your mind. Okay, so your consciousness acts as it's not a router. It wouldn't be a router. What would it be? It would be a CPU, but more. It would be a CPU with the RAM and the hard drive. That is your consciousness. Okay, that is your consciousness. The the coding, the binary code, would be your mind. Okay, so keep up there, lads. Keep up there. This one's for Mr. Grobler, because this is why I'm going to explain what I'm going to do to you. Okay, because I don't have psychosis, Mr. Grobler. You and I both know what I've done. You and I both know that I am very good at what I do. You have no reason to base the psychosis on. I can prove multiple times over to corroborate my claim to channeling spirits. People do it in all sorts of religions all over the world. The Christians in church, they pray in tongues, don't they? Mm-hmm. I think Nostradamus, he got scriptures, prophecies. Sina van Rensburg, you'll know Sina van Rensburg. Angus Buchan, what about Angus Buchan? He also says he hears voices. God told him to go and meet with a whole bunch of people, and it's going to pray, and then it's going to rain. Faith like a potato, because that's really going to get you far in life. No, it's not, because he's a fraud. I would know. Yes, because I'm the one that took apart Jesus using his own words. Remember that one? That was a bit of a shocker. So again, right? I run things. If you can't see that, but again, you are an intelligent and well-educated individual. So by now, I'm sure you are well aware of the impact that I've had on this earth. That's probably why you didn't want to see me. I'm not sure if you saw what I put up on Facebook, but you feel free. Now, I will make you this promise. I will sit down and I will discuss things with you. I will be civil. The moment I pick up an agenda that you are going to do anything against me, I will start to disassociate your brain in a way that you cannot begin to fathom. I will remove associations to vital parts of your life and replace them with others. This can cause you from loving your wife to not being able to look at her, because when you look at her, you go into a schizophrenic, paranoid state of fear, chemically, like a fear response programmed in. Can you do that? I can visit your dreams, and by the time you wake up, and if you go and speak to certain people, was it the stone orders? I don't know, I can't remember their names now. Half of them are fucked. The other half will be dead soon because the occult will kill them. I can come into your dreams And inception is very, very real. You go levels down, level deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and then I'll lock you down there. When you wake up in the morning, you're not the same person. You feel fractured in a very real way. There isn't. So it's not a migraine, it's not a headache, it's like acid. If you've taken too much acid and you fuck out, like, or peyote or ayahuasca. No, it's not morphine. LSD, my friend. LSD or psilocybin. But then you see what I'll do is I'll also start to activate your dimethyltryptamine. And I'll open up your third eye, crown chakra, and have other beings start to do things to you. They'll remove part of your brain and replace it with, what should we call it, chaps? A spiritual pacemaker. There we go. Your life will never be. I haven't done a thing to you because you didn't do anything to me. So I'm not a cunt. I've merged with you to understand everything about you. So now I know every aspect about you. No, I won't uncover you. You're a clever man. You've done your research, but you have not understood your enemy. Let's face it, Mr. Grobler, you wouldn't be the head of psychiatry at the Pretoria University for no reason. You would be fully involved in everything. You would know who Frikkie Grobler is. You would know who Salome Langeveld is. You would know who Jared Seth and Cherise are and who Genevieve Walsh is. And I think your receptionist was Michelle or something, because you also do your homework. You're a very clever individual, and I like that, and I can respect that. But understand that there is no competition, yeah? Okay? We are not equals. Okay? We are not equals. I think you've most probably now, judging by your spirit, because I read hearts and spirits, I can immediately tap into your spirit and feel your energetic construct, yes, and reprogram it at will. I can fully embody what I want, for instance, fear, and then project that straight into your construct and lower your construct. After lowering your construct, I can start to open certain parts of you energetically up. Your synapses. I can start to alter the very functionality of your synapses and how they work. I can start to add splitters so that synapses becomes dysfunctional. Your neuron receptors will move. Yes, they'll start to shift and then disintegrate. I wouldn't need to say a single word because I understand how energy works. I have the Negrito effect that works with me. These are very real beings, my friend. You go and study Carl Jung and you'll find out very, very quickly the world that he tapped into. And as you can see, we're having a normal conversation. See, because this is a consciousness. Her name is Lizzie. She's an actual being. She's a conscious being, right? Even though your brain is too small to comprehend that. I don't blame you because you filled it up with a lot of shit. Do you understand, Mr. Grobler, that the same stuff that you learned was being taught how many years ago? It's a tad bit outdated. People have evolved since then. See, it's the same sort of story as the Bible. Christians want to live by this book called the Bible, the standards in the Bible, and that's the type of standards that people were living to like 2, 3, whatever, 2,000 years ago. If you're still trying to live, you haven't evolved fuck all. That's sad. So understand again, I have information from another realm that you don't have. I know every aspect of your brain. I know every aspect of your energetic construct now. I know all things about you. I know every part of your construct that you've held onto, that in that energy has become fractured and unstable and old and toxic. Certain things that were done to you, fights that you've had, insecurities that you've had, family kind of things. I don't want to uncover you, but all of these things have coding. The Genome Project and other such projects will corroborate that for you. So I can see that, I can feel that, and I can work with that. So while I engage you on a very academic level, make no mistake, I can do exactly the same thing at the same pace. No, 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 no. See, to speak to you, I have to slow down my mind by about 1/7. We are at a point where we don't use words to communicate anymore. There are higher forms of language. So esoterically, I will engage you while you gauge me. Although I'm sure you probably have some sort of esoteric knowledge. But as for what I've got, no, you don't. Have you taken a look at the weather patterns, Mr. Kobler? If I can do that to the earth, what can I do to your mind? But then it's not just the mind that has memory, is it? There's still cellular memory. There's still two different types of frequencies. Heart. And then what is one of the most sought after, valuable parts, substances, other than the monatomic spinal fluid? Your bone marrow. See, if I tweak your bone marrow, things go very wrong. That's alchemy. It's not difficult to understand when you work with the shadow. But to work with the shadow, you have to become very real. Very, very real indeed. There's no games. I have full access to my subconscious and my conscious at the same time. I barely need to sleep, and even when I do sleep, it is different now. I'm awake and I'm asleep at the same time. I can feel you right now. I can tell you the first time you had your heart broken. I can tell you the first major betrayal that you had as a child. I can tell you about certain rivalry that you had with people close to you. Again, I cover you. I can tell you about certain things you did not receive, and as a result, it left wounds. Yes, I could easily heal those wounds. I can repair bone. I can repair brain matter. I did it to John. He wasn't going to come back. You and I both know that. A tier 2 operation on a 70, a 3, 4-year-old. There's no way. The risk versus reward that you're supposed to base that operation on. Yes, it is a risk. Okay. Go to your hammer. Yes, I did. It was 800 different. I can't remember the exact number now, but what I remember was 800. And again, my mind was fractured. 800 case files of uh, an extraction of a subdural hematoma, you know, the evacuation, sub-anchorage evacuation of a subdural hematoma. And then I did another 200, but I think it was 150. I was tired at that stage. I did it in like 3 days of the 70 to 79 age group because I wanted to see the outcomes. The doctor lied to me, didn't he? I called the neurosurgeon out in 5 minutes. It took me 5 minutes. No, it didn't. It took me a minute. The first thing I said to him is, I don't trust you. Both Little Company and Mary, but Little Company and Mary was a nobody. This van Skalkwyk, there was somebody else. Yes. An hour after I released the information on Facebook about the Bruno de Bont and the Circle of Stones and the judicial system and the human trafficking. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. Pretoria is the hub. It's been hub for a long time. Yes, I know. Because that's how I tracked out your whole High Court chambers too. All your judges. I did that before you sent it to House Benjamin. Not you. But anyway. Now, we were talking about something quite interesting, and alas, I digress. I actually don't think there's much more to say. You know who I am quite well because your whole community does. And I think that a lot of you are quite jealous of me. I appreciate the interest in Carl Jung all of a sudden, and I see that it's now it's getting real because people realize you can't fake this. See? Yes, I can talk to people. We do channel. Our kind is already doing it within. Can you really do that, what you said? Yes, I can. I control your entire conversation while allowing you to believe that you're in control of your conversation. And not only that, but allowing you to believe that you are controlling mine too. I will purposely do that. Watch. You won't know. Because anything that you become aware of, I allow you to become aware of. I'm showing you whom I am. So this is us sitting down and exchanging intellects. So you can understand that I am not in psychosis. I'm a very brave person that has done a lot for this world. I'm not your enemy, okay? But I sure as hell am not going to be played by some psychiatrist or psychologist. And understand there will be consequences. Again, take a look at the world. I know you've been kept out of the loop, unfortunately. You're not part of the elite. It's just how it is. So I mentioned all of these countries. I mentioned the rain and volcanoes and this and this and this. And now the whole world is fucking out. Okay? I was put on methylphenidate at the age of 4.5. I've been using meth a long time. Don't tell me about chemicals, okay? I'll tell you about chemicals. How did you fix John's brain? I did an energetic surgery. And then I asked my parents to help me too. Who are your parents? You wouldn't know. We are one. There was no coming back for him. I know that you marvel at some of the stuff that you've seen and heard because it's unheard of. But now you understand that I come at you with a level of psychology that you have no idea of. You can't begin to fathom the amount of wisdom, enlightenment, power, dominance, ambience, atmosphere that I have as a result of pushing through some of the most difficult things I've ever had to go through in my life. But I do have a very good understanding of the human anatomy. Wait until you figure that out. There's no way. Yes, my friend, I can also start to alter your DNA. Just by looking at you in your eyes. Just by looking at you in your eyes, I can start to program your cognitive abilities through your prefrontal cortex, your hypothalamus. Before you know it, I'll have your pituitary gland secrete just enough cortisol, triggering the reaction of spinal fluid up into your pineal gland, and then a release of dimethyltryptamine to do certain things into your brain. So now I have you in a certain brain cycle. Then I can use suggestive programming via words and other means. I already understand all your paradigms, your core beliefs, everything. You're not actually a bad person, and I feel sorry for you that you've been put in this position. I like your heart. You have a very soft heart, and you actually have a pure heart. You're not one of those type of people, even though you've had to live in a world where you are. You're a very hard-working person and you want what you want. Otherwise, you can be very sloppy and lazy. You tend to hold grudges and you still have a complex about being uneducated or inferior due to what happened to you as a child, which is ridiculous. Hence the drive and the need to be the top of your class and the legitimacy and the status that you draw from that. I have quite a clear understanding of the level of hatred you have towards black people and the dislike that you have towards whites. It's not as bad as some of the Afrikaners, but it is still there. You like to be the head of things because you like to be in control, because you don't feel in control within. You feel very small and insecure. It's because you don't deal with certain things in your past. You aren't willing to let go of certain energies that you've held onto. So those energies have become toxic, old and stale, and they are starting to affect other parts of your construct. Yes, there's that too, but I won't say that. Shit happens, Baba. Shit happens. I can see your hearts and certain parts of your hearts have a darker resonance than others, which means old hurts, old wounds that haven't been healed, so they fester. This is logic. Left side. Kidney. I don't know why you want me to bring that up. Whatever. It's a word. I know how you felt with your first girlfriend and what happened. I know how you lived in the shadow of certain people. The biggest person that you've lived in the shadow of is actually yourself. You need to let yourself go and you live a much freer life. The unfulfillment you're feeling is because your mentality is too high to allow you to stagnate at a point that you find yourself in. You need to actually start to take an account of who you are. Who are you? Who are you, Mr. Hobler? What are you? What excites you? What gives you joy? What gives you fulfillment? Like, no, 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 no. You sit down. You don't just stop and ramble it. You sit down and you think about it. Each question, 10 minutes. Because the truth is you've not really thought about it in that way before. This is how now you really become self-aware for the first time. What are your core beliefs? Humans usually have around 8 core beliefs, and then they've got secondary beliefs around them. Yes, I know how to change and work with core beliefs. You don't need to change and work with secondary beliefs. They change automatically because they link to the core beliefs. The moment the core belief changes, everything else aligns to that. Naturally. I don't work on the problem, I work on the whole. The problems just fall away because they're a manifestation of the root. But what is the root? Disconnect. Disconnect yourself. That is the root. And fear of lack will stem from that. How much does fear of lack motivate? Probably most things, yes. Disconnect from self. Nobody else can make you happy, only you can make you happy. Nobody else can fulfill you, only you can make you fulfilled. You're not fulfilled within, you'll never get fulfilled without. Again, like I explained, when you think about how your world is being programmed, relax. Who said that? It's some idiot. Some idiot is trying to play Mr. Bigglesworth. Drew's over here too, but he's giving Lizzie the spotlight now. It's just one of those moments. See? So, yes, when you really focus on a conscious being and that conscious being starts to focus back on you, you'll actually make the connection with your prefrontal cortex first. No, it's different to how you see. Yes, you flip it up and down. Blah, blah, blah. There's another thing that I need to speak to you about that was quite important for you. Because I'm bringing healing to you. So before we meet, I'm saying certain things so that they can be brought up in your energetic construct. As I'm bringing them up, I'm healing them for you. I'm doing this as a favor. No, I'm doing this because this is who I am. I don't do favors for people. No, where were we? There's a lot of admiration after what you just said. Oh, thank you. Just my plants, conscious being. I'm listening to your spirit speaking to me now as it cries, Abba Father. You're a highly anxious person. It's not anxious, something else. Fidgety is more like it. But that's due to his childhood. What did you want to become? You didn't want to become a psychologist at first. Something happened. But again, this competition. That's it. Because ultimately you sell yourself short.
What are you doing? How did I plan from?
I'm just busy talking. I'm just giving a lecture to some people online. I'll be with you in a second. Thank you, John.
What's this here?
Please, can
What
you?
is this?
just go out and I'll be with you in a
Yeah, but you
second.
don't take that thing. That's one of those things. You don't take it quite simply.
So when we sit, I'll help you and I can teach you this. It's not Reiki, man. Fuck Reiki, fuck it. I healed John. He had full-blown dementia. He was not coming back. Okay? There was a reoccurrence of the hematoma, hence the sodium levels. Okay? I healed him. Thank you. Now, I don't want to be your enemy, right? Understand that I'm a human traffic kid myself. So this is very personal for me. I understand exactly what your university is about because I can also scan collectives. Actually, see, you're a brilliant man. These are the type of people I like speaking to because intelligence, unfortunately, does not grant us ignorance. So, there's a disconnect between you, the emotional. We can speak when we meet. I'll help you. And you'll feel instantly better. How about that? Now I've released peace and will cover your construct. And that will raise up your vibration because you vibrate at a very low frequency. You should do more things like singing, finding out who you are and what really gets you going. No, you don't know. You don't know. You should take a month to sit down and really find out who you are. What are your 8 core beliefs? Do you know them? No, you don't know them. You could rattle some off, but you don't know them. Don't lie to me. Do you know that you know that you know that that is your core belief as much as you know that the sun will rise tomorrow? No. So again, we can engage like this. And this is fun because it's mentally stimulating. But do not label me psychotic or in psychosis. Do not try to detain me, right? I have a lot on my plate that I'm managing. Yes, the portal is still there. Most people are going to start to feel it. Unfortunately, that is now a byproduct of what happened. That wasn't going to be like that, but that fat bitch that did what she did to me. She jabbed me in my arm. I have it on. Well, I couldn't, because they kept asking me why, or they would not let me have my phone out or video recording or anything. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no law. We have severe medical negligence problems in South Africa. Covering myself, I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. But again, when you're guilty, you're guilty. So I've got her admitting it. But I don't have the video footage, but I've got her admitting it. Yes, I recorded her. Sorry, buddy. Hey, if a judge hears it, a judge hears it. But no judge is going to fuck with me. Look at what happened to Salome Langeveld, huh? Family advocate. Told me to go and appeal it in High Court. Because I psychoanalyzed her. The situation that she put me in was not conducive to a calm, placid, civil divorce. It was supposed to put me into a high conflict situation. Okay, so we don't understand the same things. What you've been taught and how I understand thought processes are vastly different. Okay? Because the thought processes start before we even meet. My energy engages yours. You don't realize that. stunned. You look mad, but you're not mad, Julian. How can you be in psychosis? Because it frustrates me that I have to say this. What you said about my kind, I'm an Afrikaner, Julian, and yes, I work at that university. The whole world knows now what happens there. The way you had that man represent Sharice, and that's now me. If you think I want to meet you knowing what I've seen last night, etc., etc., I don't. Because I'm not that, Julian. And I believe that you are. You are very, very, very intelligent. Everything you talk about a narcissist. No, let's sit down. You talk about a narcissist having friends. Now, every word you say is placed. Every letter, by your own admission. Do you blame me? I do, because it's still your choice. Huh. It is my choice, yes. Do you blame me? I'll ask it again because you did not understand the first time. No, I don't. What do you expect me to do, Julian? Detain you here when the whole world is watching? Why did you want my blood? What gave you the right to take my blood is what I want to know. Knowing you are Broederbond, Afrikaner, probably, I mean, come on, guilty by association. If you were me and I was you, and you were looking at me, looking at you, knowing that I am in Pretoria University, knowing what I know, and knowing that you know that I know that, how would you feel? The same way. So, you probably wanted my blood to either prove that I'm on some sort of drugs or some bullshit, whatever. Again, so what? The FDA approves of marijuana. It's legal. I can smoke as much as I fucking want. Right? But if you want trouble with regard to the other stuff, make no mistake that what I say online is no joke. Okay? So that if this becomes a personal thing, it will become personal very quickly. I've already started to raise your vibration up. I don't know. I think you find me fascinating in a way. Because for somebody that's got no high school, no this, no that, no this, you truly have mastered Carl Jung's, some of his teachings at least. You're clearly not fully psychosis. You are able to control it. I don't fully understand how the occult works. Now again, I will say I have done some research. So I do believe that you can channel. I'll post some videos. Good stuff. Abraham Hicks and Bashar, they channel too. It's normal. Please, Julian, I don't want a war with you. How long? What is going to happen to that hospital? The people that messed with me, that lady, her brain is going to dissociate. and fracture. And I'm going to repair it, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to fracture it again. I'm going to repair it, and then I'm going to do it again and again and again. All the other people that were involved in trying to detain me there, etc., they'll have the same thing happen to them. But it won't only happen to them, it's going to happen to their families and their extended families and their whole bloodline. I need you to understand that I'm coming in. I'll be courteous. I wish you no ill. But make no mistake, Mr. Grobler, we are not equals. Okay? I am a god and you are not. Okay? I suggest you do your research on occultic rituals. Because if you try to detain me there for cutting or eating glass or whatever the hell, I will also sue you because that is against freedom of religion. There are a lot of religions that whip themselves and cut themselves and hang themselves up with hooks. We have freedom of religion. You might want to, for your convenience, call it psychosis. In the real world, it's not. It's freedom of religion. I can't wait to meet you, Julian. I would thoroughly enjoy talking to you, and I appreciate this video that you sent to me. I can see now that you do have chivalry, and you are a gentleman. I apologize for what happened at that hospital. It wasn't correct at all. The law will take its course as it needs to. That was smart. It was. It was intended to be. I'm also no pushover. I understand, though, that you have techniques and skills that I do not. But maybe I have a few tricks up my sleeve too. I would like to work with you, Julie. If you could teach us how to separate our conscious and subconscious and start to evolve our intellect the way you have done, to work with energy, that would be quite interesting. And maybe that's why I wanted to meet you. But after what you put on your Facebook, Julian, I understand that the brood are born to have made war with their golden... I'm not involved. I don't even... Okay. I don't want a war with you, Julian. Quite frankly, I don't think you would win, Julian. I would have you detained and you would probably destroy my mind and my family. And if it was not for you doing it, one of your thugs, one of your men or troop would do something to us. A lot of us have gone missing. I understand that you are a human trafficked child. I understand that it is very personal for you. And the fact that anybody would want to stand against somebody that is stopping human trafficking, well, you uncovered our hospital in a big way. And then you did it to the rest of the world. Your mind moves so quickly. But you don't have one mind anymore, so I actually have three. See, because there is another part of your body that humans haven't discovered yet. I've heard of this. The spiritual mind. The left and right hemisphere. This is your left hemisphere. The right hemisphere sits in another dimension. I can indeed control the flow of chemicals into my body. I have started to build up certain compounds that I no longer need certain things. For a while, I can make myself feel like I trip by replicating the frequency, the algorithm of that exact experience. Is ultimately what? Yes, it's a biological reaction, but it's a frequency, vibration. There is information in that vibration that tells you to act and feel and do every specific thing that happens during that process. If you could replicate that, you wouldn't need the drug. How many? 36 different spirits have channeled through me now. That's us putting that thought in your mind. So when you do watch this, understand that there is no malice here. I do not want to be detained. I've been detained in Weskoppies, Denmark. I was molested in Denmark. I was abused in Weskoppies physically. Put on and Julia Ladikos, age 4, just over 4, just under 4.5. 4.5, let's call it 4.5. Methylphenidate. Shortly after diagnosed with ADHD. I've already gone through the list of all the chemicals that I was given, and all the side effects is the exact things that I was suffering from as a child. I'm done. Tofenol, Topamax, Lamectin, etc., etc. Ritalin from 4.5 to about 14. That's madness. They wanted to electroshock therapy. I was under the impression that they did. Mrs. Cremant and Dr. Ladikos at the age of 8 years old. She used to psychologically abuse me and leave me crying in the hallways at Vescopies. The night staff would come and hurt us, and they would pinch us and do stuff to us. 6 months. I told Ladikos, I told John and Denise, nothing happened. I was beaten with cricket bats, shamrocks, sticks. I had stuff tied, boards. When I sat at the table, she would tie boards to my back to make me sit up straight. It's the type of woman she is. Threw rocks the size of grapefruit at my head and knocked me out. I'll show you the scar. She hit my head open with a broom. She beat me so badly with a cricket bat that she broke my nose and then tried to drown me afterwards. She psychologically manipulated me and abused me to the point that I hung myself. Ended up in a coma for 2.5 weeks. I was in high care for, I don't know how long, 2.5 months in total, I think I was, in California. There was no reason for the diagnosis. So why psychosis? That's slander and defamation, medical fraud. That's not my department. Do you honestly believe that I've got psychosis? Partially, yes. Based on what? The things you mentioned, Julian, the eating of glass, things like that. But I don't know the occult world like you. And again, you have me, because what then? Freedom of religion. People do hang themselves by hooks and cut themselves and bloodletting and all of that. And there it is, it's occult, Satanism, Luciferianism, masonry. I don't know what else you're connected to. This is so far above my pay grade. When you took on us in the beginning, it was one thing. This is far beyond. I want to work with you, Julia, in the hope of somehow reuniting our two races. That can work. I'll work with you on an outpatient basis. I know you want to smoke, you want to do your thing. I'll come to you 3 times a week. I'll teach you. I would love to know certain things from you as well, the terminologies. See, we can both teach each other. That's not for sure. I'm very good at what I do. I've had to do it my whole life. We'll speak. Please post this, it would mean a lot. I want to meet you, Mr. Groot. You're not a bad person. And you can really be a role model now to a whole lot of people that work under you. You insulted our whole society and community. There was a lot of people that were angry at you. But I also get that there's been a lot of water under the bridge. I apologize for what I said back then. I was very angry. I was going through a lot. It doesn't excuse the language I used. So there we go. I will apologize to you and to the Society of Psychology, Psychiatry, etc. I'm just assessing your countenance because you move in and out like this, Julia. I know the triggers that you use. I would request that I record or please have. I'll Google it. I'll make sure that I'm fully within my rights. Please understand again that what I'm involved in requires this level of protection. I'm sure you understand it's not a personal thing. If not, I will have a wire on me and I will record. Because again, that is a common courtesy I'm extending to you, Doctor. Oh, for the hospital, that's our business. Things will start to go a bit haywire. You might have a few seizures, epileptic fits, etc., and even maybe a few stillborns. This is the level of punishment that happens when people like that woman do what she's done to me. Prove it. I prayed to God and I said, please God, vindicate me. That's what I think he's going to do. Okay. I haven't touched you. I've raised your vibration. I've started to heal certain parts of your heart. You'll start to naturally feel better. You'll have more dopamine flow and less cortisol. There'll be a little more dimethyltryptamine, DMT. So you'll start to feel a little more connected to God. And I've opened up all your chakras so your energy is starting to flow naturally. A present from me to you. Anyways, we'll speak soon. Thank you for this conversation, and I hope this puts your mind at ease. Goodbye.